Hey everybody, Coach Mel here. As you heard in the intro, I wear many hats. I guess the best description would be an online health and fitness expert. You'll have to apologize. I'm a little nasally. I do have allergies, so hopefully it doesn't sound too awful on your end. I've got that like deep voice. Too bad I can't sing. So today's episode is going to be called How to Properly Store Fruits and Vegetables. And I did a Facebook Live quite a while back on this. And the reason that I wanted to do a podcast on this and a YouTube, because I think especially right now with the way the world is going with prices, it's super important that you learn how to properly store fruits and vegetables so that you have less waste. I'm trying to keep everybody saving money and teach you that a little effort on your part when you bring home your fruits and vegetables goes a long way for the future. So I think you guys will really enjoy this episode. You may know some things, you may not, but it took me a long time, you guys, even to figure out how to not waste avocados. So hopefully you'll get some good info from this, okay? So I think the biggest question people want to know is it supposed to go in the fridge, or is it supposed to go on the counter, or is it supposed to go in the pantry? And a lot of it's important where you put it, but some of it is just personal preference and space. So I'll kind of break it down kind of step by step with fruits and vegetables. So we're going to start out with strawberries, okay? So the best way to keep strawberries and raspberries and blackberries from molding is to not wash all of them unless you're going to eat them right away. So you want to wash just what you're going to eat. When you wash them, it ripens faster, mold comes faster, and then you'll have to throw them away. And if you just splurge for some beautiful strawberries or blueberries, blackberries or raspberries, it's really hard to throw them away. So you're going to want to do 1 part vinegar to 5 parts water, and soak your berries, and then you're going to want to pat them dry with a paper towel. That's the best thing to do as far as that goes. If you notice that you have some berries that are starting to get a little bit soft, I would simply wash them and put them in your freezer and use them for smoothie bowls and shakes. Secondly, we're going to talk about carrots. I think most people probably just toss their carrots right in the fridge in the bag that it comes in, and actually taking it out of the bag and storing your carrots in a mason jar, like straight up with water, it's going to make them last longer. And what I would do is I would cut the ends off, and I would you can either peel them or not peel them. I tend to just leave the peel on. I think there's a lot of nutrition in there. And cut them up into carrot sticks. And I think that visually, you and your family, when you open the fridge and you see those carrots there in the water, you're going to be more apt to grab those and snack on those, okay? Celery can be the same way. Also, take it out of the bag that it comes in. If you wrap it in foil and put it in your produce drawer, it's going to last longer, but you can also wash it, cut it up, and also store it upright in a mason jar. And if you're using a lot of, we use a lot of marinara and things like that, I would save your jars and use them for things like this. That way you're not constantly having to purchase jars, okay? So mushrooms are a toughie. We've all had to throw mushrooms away. It's nice to have mushrooms to snack on, or to throw on a salad, or to throw in an omelet, but they seem to go off really quickly. So what I would recommend is when you're checking out, grab a small brown bag or an ice cream bag, and don't wash your mushrooms, again, kind of like the berries, and put your mushrooms in, and then fold the bag down, and then let them sit in your refrigerator with just the air getting to them. it's closing off the air. If you had a produce bag with your mushrooms in it, that's the worst thing that you can do, and they'll get slimy, okay? And I don't want people to not experiment with fun things like mushrooms because they go bad so fast, okay? So another thing I want to talk about is the crispers, and all of your drawers have a little setting, you know, a lower setting or a higher setting, you know, a low crisp or high crisp. Most people don't know what that means. Most people don't even pay attention to it, but this could help you have your fruits and vegetables last longer. So we're going to talk about cucumbers, and cucumbers I think are a personal preference. They can definitely be stored on the counter, but I prefer them in the fridge because I like them cold. So that's personal preference. If you're limited on fridge space, if you can take notes of things that are okay on the counter, that would help you, okay? We're going to talk about also why you can't just get a bowl and put everything in it too. We're going to talk about certain things touching each other and creating gases that ripen the foods faster and tend to make them rot, okay? So tomatoes is next. Tomatoes can definitely be on the counter. Again, personal preference for me. I like my tomatoes cold, so I put them in the produce drawer. Bananas, Josh. Bananas, fridge or counter?
Counter.
Okay, counter, okay. And there's two types of people. Some people put them in their fridge, okay? So I personally, I think that a lot of people that put them in the fridge do that because it prevents them from going brown faster. I personally prefer counter because I use half of a frozen banana every day for my Melfit Berry Banana Smoothie Bowl, or I'll make Melfit banana bread or different recipes, or nice cream. So I never have to worry about throwing a banana away. I constantly have a bag of bananas in my freezer, okay? But a hot tip, and you sometimes will see this at the store, is to wrap the end of the bananas really tightly with foil or saran wrap, and that prevents. I saw that at an organic Whole Foods store, so they must know that that tip as well. Alrighty, so talking about the gases and separating things, bananas emit gases that ripen your fruit faster. And if you have bananas and apples together, the gas, did you know this, Josh?
No,
the gas from the banana, you'll have to tell your mom, will ripen the apple right away. I mean, have you ever looked in a fruit bowl and all of a sudden you're like, why is that going off so fast? That's why. So I think it's crucial to either keep bananas by themselves or get a banana hanger, okay? Another thing that people don't think a lot about are nuts and seeds. Nuts and seeds are pretty expensive, and if you don't use them as quickly as I do, I use nuts and seeds for a lot of different recipes I'm creating for you guys. You may not have this problem, but they can go rancid. So the best thing for your nuts and seeds is going to be to store them in jars in your refrigerator. And I always try to help you guys save money. I would definitely buy in bulk. Larger bags at Costco or Winco is going to help you save money. We're going to talk about the crispers in the drawers. And the easiest way to remember this, you might want to jot it down, is if it rots, you want it on low humidity, like a cucumber or a tomato. If it wilts, you want it on high humidity. Wilting would be like spinach and lettuce and things that are more delicate like that, okay? So this is talking about your produce drawers. Everybody has at least 2 produce drawers at the bottom of their fridge, okay? So again, fruits can give off an ethanol gas that ripens other things. So you don't want to put fruits and veggies together as a rule of thumb, okay? Another thing is don't overload. Has anybody packed their produce drawers so full that they can't open it? Leave space at the top of your produce drawers so that there is enough room for that cool air to circulate in there and help keep things crispy. So one thing I wrote here on the bottom of my notepad that will help you guys right now with this increase in, what is it called, inflation, Josh, is simply buy less. And most people I know are signed up for a grocery service, and you're paying for as many trips as possible, right, Josh? Mm-hmm. Right? So if I wanted to order 3 times a week, it's still the same price. Is that correct? I don't use that because I like the exercise and I like to go see what's new at the store, and I'm constantly price shopping for you guys and looking for new products. So I do like to go to the store. I understand that some people don't, and that's fine. So buying less and buying just what you need is what's going to save you money. You know, if there's 2 people in your house, do you need 2 bunches of bananas? So Josh, have you and your family started buying less? Do you know?
Yeah.
Do you notice?
Yes.
And not waste as much? So what I always do, we food prep at Malfit, and generally almost everything in my refrigerator gets used up by food prep day. If there's a little bit of fruit in there that is going to go off, it goes in the freezer. If there is a little miscellaneous, you know, some cilantro and a little leftover veggies, then I'll just do a kitchen sink salad. I'll just chop everything up, and that way there is no waste. So I'm going to tell you guys what you want to have in your high humidity drawer. And again, remember, high humidity wilts, low humidity rots. So in your high humidity drawer, most of the things on the top of this list are green. Leafy greens, romaine, green leaf, red leaf, spinach, broccoli, green beans, cabbage, butter lettuce, Brussels sprouts, peas, peppers, squash, and watermelon. Not that you could fit a watermelon in your produce drawer, but you can put it in your fridge. I guess if you chopped it smaller, you could put it in there, okay? So low humidity would be apples, and I prefer my apples in the fridge. Josh, fridge or counter?
Counter.
Really? Yeah, and I like them cold, that's why, but either way is fine. Avocados, cantaloupe, figs, honeydew, kiwi, mango, papaya, plantains, and oranges. And again, I like my oranges cold. Josh, counter or fridge oranges?
Kind of differs.
I love those little mandarin oranges in the fridge because I like them cold. So
I feel like the oranges are in the fridge in the summer, and in the winter they're on the counter.
Yeah, because it's too hot.
Yeah.
Things just tend to ripen really fast when they're on the counter in the summer. So let's talk about avocados. A lot of people have resorted to just buying the bags of cubed avocados. I personally think they have a different texture. I don't love them. I love a good fresh avocado. On the weekend, I like a hot breakfast. During the week, I'll do my Melfit Berry Banana smoothie bowls or one of my smoothie bowls. And on the weekend, I like me avocado toast with salmon or some waffles or something like that. So, but a lot of times avocado toast is my go-to. And how can I always have an avocado in the house and plan for something that I'm only going to use a couple times a week? So what you're going to do is you're going to let your avocados get slightly ripened, not overripe, and then you're going to put them in the low humidity drawer. And I've had avocados last up to 3 weeks that way. But you have to ripen them first in order to get them into the drawer, okay? If you want them to ripen a little faster, you can put them in a brown paper bag in the pantry, but that seems to work really good for me. I rarely ever have any waste. And what I try to do is be realistic. There's 2 people in our house. When I go to the store, a couple of avocados should last us, a couple of weeks. So another thing that I always encourage Melfit clients to use is fresh herbs. This time of year we can grow them. They're very inexpensive. I've got mint taking over at my house. But in the wintertime, it's hard unless you grow your herbs indoors. It's hard to go get a pack of herbs, and if you don't use them all and you paid $2, it's so hard to throw it away. So herbs can also be stood straight up in a jar with water, or you can chop them up and put olive oil and sprinkle the herbs in an ice cube tray and freeze them that way. And then that way, if you've got a dish you're going to make that requires olive oil, you just throw that in there, so that way there's no waste. If you want to dry your herbs out at the end of the season, you can hang them dry in your pantry. You can put them in a brown bag in your pantry, or you can dehydrate them. And another way to not waste herbs is I'll just chop them up and then put them in my water. That way I've got some nice infused water. Another thing, as far as talking about ice cubes, if you're concerned, if you're cooking on Melfit and every time you use like coconut milk or coconut cream you have some left over, I always make yogurt, but if you're not going to make yogurt, then you can do that. I got that hot tip from Kelsey Wilder, and you can put the coconut cream or the coconut milk in the ice cube trays and then not waste there. Green onions are also, they do really well in a jar of water. And we're going to talk about onions and potatoes next. Onions and potatoes, where do they go, Josh?
I want to say counter, but it's probably wrong.
Where do they go at your house?
Counter.
Okay. So I have some sweet potatoes in a bowl on my counter. I've also put them in my fridge. I've also put them in my pantry. A cool, dark place is best, for sure. They don't, rot as quickly in a cool, dark place. And I don't know if you know this, Josh, but the two things you don't want to put together are onions and potatoes. Yeah, you want to separate them because they also emit gases and they help each other rot faster. Isn't that crazy? And you think all the time looking at people's houses that their onions and potatoes are always together. So yeah, definitely separate those. But again, honestly, personal preference on this one. Fridge, counter, pantry, but cool, dark place. So I'm going to give you guys just a few tips to prevent wasting that you can do now to help you continue to be able to live a healthy lifestyle and feel good about purchasing whole foods and not fall back in that I can't afford it. We can all afford it, especially if we're just a little bit more careful with wasting. It takes a little extra step sometimes to, maybe you on your low humidity drawer, maybe you make a little label and you list what's supposed to go in there, and on your high humidity drawer you do the same, and it might help the people in your house know what's in the drawer. So I mean, it's definitely gonna help things last longer. So tips to prevent wasting would be see what you have first, okay? Josh, do you know anybody that just goes to the store to go to the store?
Not really.
My grandmother, God love her, she's passed away. She literally, Josh, it was her and my grandpa, she walked to the store every day.
Wow.
And how could two people need something every day, right? I mean, I think it was just like a habit. And so I say this to my husband, and I always tell him, shop in the shop. I'll say, hey, do we have a crescent wrench? Well, he doesn't know where anything is, so he goes and buys another one. And then every time we move, I notice we have 6 crescent wrenches, right? So shop in the shop. To Melfit for you guys, it's shop in your fridge, shop in your pantry. Print your list out, see what you have first, then buy what you need. If you constantly are shoving stuff in your fridge, everything's going to get pushed to the back, and then you find out that you never even need it. So what I always have going, and you can use any list, You can use a piece of paper or you can use your phone. But what I always have going is a constant list. Living a healthy lifestyle is forever. So as soon as I use something, it goes on the list, because when Josh and I are cooking a recipe, I want to be able to go to my pantry for the almonds. But if I didn't get it on the list, then it becomes an inconvenience. So you just have to get into the habit of always keeping things going. Getting really organized helps. Getting your refrigerator organized so that you can see everything. Getting your pantry organized so that you can see everything. Again, if you can't see it, you won't use it because it gets shoved back. Labeling things, investing in some clear containers for your refrigerator and putting a label on the end of everything will help you, and it'll help anybody in your household. Hard-boiled eggs, fruits, vegetables, whatever you guys have going on helps. Buy less and go to the store more. I think I said that earlier, and I think it's really important. Also, meal planning is probably... Do you agree with this one, Josh? Don't you think meal planning saves money?
100%.
Before I was meal planning, I was just getting a basket and just randomly throwing stuff in, and 9 times out of 10 things were getting pitched in the trash because I didn't really have it planned. So I would maybe cook a couple times and maybe I would eat out, and then things are just thrown away. And they always say, like, everybody tends to buy the bigger Costco spring mix and it just gets thrown away. Well, if you bought the spring mix and you got 6 food prep containers and you filled them all up and you prepared yourself 6 salads for the week, it wouldn't get thrown away. So it's just a matter of trying to recognize what you waste and do something about it. Another thing you can do is split things with your neighbors. Hey, I know you use spring mix. I use spring mix too. Would you like to split? Would you like to split the cucumbers? Like, if it's too much for you, but you want a better price because you are a Costco member, then split. So check labels before they expire. If you notice that something's going to go off, if you got a really killer Primal Kitchen salad dressing or barbecue sauce, if you see that it's going to go off, maybe you throw some chicken in your Instant Pot and make some barbecue chicken, and it's just a real shame to have to toss out something that was, $3 or $4. Store all of your food properly. When I first met my husband, if he put his food away, he would literally take his dinner plate and stick it in the fridge. That's not you, right, Josh?
Mm-hmm.
Without anything over it, not even a piece of foil or anything. So taking the time to put leftovers away and put everything away properly is definitely going to save. We've been together for so long. Not too long ago, I said, how could you get this far in life and not know how to put food away? Like, how lazy can you be? Also, he doesn't buy the food, so I don't think he appreciates it that way. So I like to drag him to the store once in a while, or just remind him that, especially now with inflation, we have to be really careful. You can't just set your plate in the fridge. You have to get a container out and get a lid. Portion everything out. That is really, really important as far as maintaining and reaching your goals. If you have a big thing of almond crackers and you really like them, but you kind of can go crazy with them, maybe when you bring it home, you portion out each bag with whatever it is, 17 crackers, and then that way it's grab and go. Anybody that randomly reaches in something is going to tend to overeat. But if they just grab the bag, actually leave the kitchen, that's what they will eat. So that definitely helps. If you're on MelFit and you're prepping, you don't want to put your stuff in a family style container. I see this all the time. It doesn't work for you because your stuff needs to be portioned out. It doesn't work for family because what if they take too much and there's not enough for you in your meal plan? So it's really important that you don't family style. I had somebody, it was like Wednesday, and they said, oh my gosh, my egg roll in a bowl is already gone. I don't think that your portion was enough. And I said, did you put it in your food prep containers? And she said, no, I just put it in a big bowl and took some out every day. Well, that's not the way we do it. We're not super anal about weighing and measuring, but it definitely has to be in your containers, okay? Another thing, I don't know if you do this or not, but check your receipt. Do you check your receipt, Josh? You do? I do too, because it'd be so easy for you or someone else to quickly scan something twice. What if it was a flank steak that was like $15 and that got charged twice? So take a moment when you get to your car, and if you see something, go into customer service, and it's going to make a difference, and it's worth it to make sure. Also, constantly looking at your receipt, you're mentally wrapping your mind around food prices. Wow, I saw that this cost this here. I don't think I'm going to continue buying that here because it's actually cheaper here. And this does take a little bit of extra time, but it pays off. I shop at multiple stores based on certain things. Winco, I like to go there for their bulk section. Costco, of course, in bulk. There are a few things I get at Pilgrim's. There's a few things I get at Winco. There's a few things I don't get at Winco. Like Winco has great prices on bulk produce, wild caught seafood actually, and meat. But the other day I was going to buy bleach and some small garbage bags for my bathroom. The bleach and the garbage bags were $4 each. Well, how much would the bleach and garbage bags be at, say, Walmart? Way cheaper. So I just took a mental note. This is not the place to buy those kind of household items. So you don't have to go to the extreme of like coupon clipping, but you just need to be mindful, and be really organized. If I go out and I've got Pilgrims, Winco, and Costco, I break it down that way. Pilgrims, Winco, Costco, and I have everything really organized. I put it in my notes on my phone or any list, and as I get it, I just back the whatever's on the list out, and then that helps me break it down really easily. Shop the best prices, go to more stores. We already talked about that. Shop in bulk. Okay, so red meat is super crazy expensive right now, and I actually said this on my Facebook Live, and back then it wasn't even as bad as it is now. Shop your local ranches. I shop Lazy J's Ranch in Hauser, and comparatively her grass-fed lean ground beef is still less expensive than buying the store. And it might take you a little bit more effort of coordinating, a drop-off or a pickup, but you're going to know where it came from, and the price is going to be good. And I just think of it as a real treat. Like I've got some grass-fed ground beef chubs, I call them, in my freezer, and when I get one of those out, that is a real treat. That's good quality grass-fed meat. So be really, really mindful of the red meat situation right now. We don't eat anything with over 10 grams of fat in it anyways, so I think just that in itself kind of keeps your red meat down on Melfit. So another thing that will help you when you're shopping is don't buy Temptations. Generally, Temptations are expensive, and if you can't keep your hands off the coconut chocolate covered almonds from Costco, don't buy them. Anything that you can't keep your hands off, Josh, that you thought, oh my gosh, I could not buy that again, or do you just not buy it?
Well, Costco has these Thin Mint Girl Scout cookie covered pretzels.
Oh my goodness. Were those one of those ones where you couldn't keep your hands off them?
Yeah.
Oh, geez. Was it a big bag, too?
Yeah.
That's the thing, too. It's like you're thinking, oh, my gosh, I got to go through this whole bag and just get this out of my system. Are they still lingering around your house? No, they're gone. But, yeah. Oh, my gosh. I love Girl Scout cookies. We might have to make a Thin Mint something for Melfit that would satisfy that. I'm surprised you like mint, Josh.
I love it.
Really? So as always, replace, don't remove. Like I just said, if there's something you're craving and you see at the store, refrain from buying it. Check the Melfit app. Ask me if I can recreate it, and generally I'd be happy to do that. So you're in control of the food that's in your house. If you're tempted by anything in your house, it's your fault. If you're listening to this, more than likely you're the head of household and you only have yourself to blame. If you've got children in the house and you're bringing unhealthy foods into the house, you're not teaching your children good health habits, and you are setting them up for being unhealthy, and overweight children turn into unhealthy and overweight adults. And if you yourself aren't knowledgeable enough to help them, then they're just going to struggle in trying to figure out, and kind of like with me, I love my mom's cooking, but everything she made was like roast and mashed potatoes and gravy and, real heavy food. So that's what sparked, me when I gained weight, trying to really educate myself and figure out, what's wrong with the American diet and why growing up was, were the, dinners so heavy and starchy. I mean, I remember having potatoes and a roll, and it was just like starchy and carbs, and I meet a lot of people who are like, meat and potatoes, and it's just getting to be, in 2022, the best thing that you can do to better your life is to add more vegetables, even if you've got to, grind them up so you don't even know they're there. You want to have a serving of vegetables. You should have 4 to 6 servings of vegetables every day, and if that seems daunting, at least 1 serving per meal. So an easy way to do that would be to put spinach in your smoothie or smoothie bowl for breakfast. Have some kind of a salad at lunch with a good protein source, and then for dinner have some kind of vegetables with your dinner. So if you are new to eating vegetables, I always tell people that start with the vegetables that you like. Josh is one of them, so we started with carrots, right, Josh? And we're trying to, have you ventured out into anything else yet? No? Okay. But when I give him food, I'll do stir fries and stuff, and I sneak a ton of vegetables in, right, Josh? And you eat it, right? It's flavored good. Everything's cut up really small. He doesn't notice it. So I hope, how far along are we, Josh? 33? Okay. So this one's a little bit shorter, but that's okay. I hope that this helps you guys and answers some questions that you may have had regarding how to properly store fruits and vegetables. And I hope that you will take the time to be a little bit more mindful. Also, if you're listening to this and you have a hot tip about how to properly store fruits and vegetables, please share. I do see a lot like on like Instagram and stuff, people will say the old me and the new me. And I saw the other day that somebody, in order to get their lemons to last longer, they soaked them in water. And I see some really cool things where people take the top of the lettuce and they're actually planting it to grow lettuce, or they're taking the avocado seed and they're taking the toothpicks in the cup with the water and then they're growing. So if you can grow anything, it's going to save you money, especially if you can grow your own herbs, especially if you can grow your herbs year round. My new house, I'm going to have a year-round herb garden with some grow lights, so that's going to be really nice. I'll never have to pay $2 for a package of basil in the winter ever again. So it's been amazing connecting, inspiring, and motivating you guys. Thanks for tuning in. If you like the show, like it, share it, comment, leave a review, and we'll see you guys on the next Malfit podcast. Thanks for joining. Bye-bye.